The night was quiet, and only the sound of the wind moved through the old village. A thin fog rested on the ground. In the center of the training yard, a young man named Daichi stood alone. His eyes were sharp, but there was a heaviness behind them, like a storm waiting to break. Anyone who looked carefully could see the truth. Daichi carried a scar not only on his skin, but deep inside his heart. Years before this moment, Daichi was not the calm man he appeared to be. He was full of energy, dreams, and restless fire. He believed he would become one of the greatest samurai of his generation. He trained every morning before sunrise, and every night until the moon climbed above the rooftops. He wanted strength. He wanted respect. He wanted honor. But the world had its own plans. Daichi's first big challenge came earlier than expected. He was only 16 when the village announced a grand sparring event. Warriors from nearby villages arrived to watch young fighters prove their worth. Daichi had waited for this moment his whole life. He wanted to show the world that he was ready. He walked into the arena with confidence in every step. The crowd cheered. The drums echoed. Everything felt perfect. Then he saw his opponent, a tall, silent fighter named Rai. People whispered stories about him. They said he fought like a shadow and moved like the wind. Daichi felt fear touch his heart for the first time, but he pushed it down. He raised his sword. The fight began. In the first few seconds, Daichi attacked with fast, sharp swings. But Rai did not move. He only watched. Daichi grew impatient. He attacked harder. Rai stepped aside. One small movement. One perfect counter. Daichi fell. He did not fall because Rai was stronger. He fell because he lost control. His anger blinded him. His fear became heavier than his sword. The moment he hit the ground, Rai's blade cut across his shoulder, leaving a long, burning mark, the scar. The crowd fell silent. Then they looked away. In that silence, Daichi heard every unspoken word. He is weak. He is not ready. He will never make it. That night, Daichi sat alone under an old cherry tree. He pressed his hand against the wound. It hurt, but the pain inside him hurt more. His dream felt like it was slipping away. Failure followed him like a shadow. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the moment he fell. Days turned into weeks. Daichi's confidence faded. He still trained, but something was missing. His movements lost their fire. His spirit became quiet. He started avoiding the training yard after sunset. He did not want anyone to see his uncertainty. But fate has a strange way of showing itself. One night, when the wind was cold and the moon was thin like a blade, Daichi heard a soft tapping sound behind him. He turned. An old man stood near the tree. His back was curved. His clothes were simple, but his presence felt powerful, like a mountain hidden behind fog. The old man looked at Daichi's scar and spoke in a low, calm voice. "You fall because you fight the wrong enemy." Daichi frowned. Rai was the enemy. The old man shook his head. "No, the enemy is inside you." Daichi felt a strange fear in his chest. He had heard stories of people who spoke like this, strange teachers, who walked in secret, teaching forbidden knowledge. Knowledge the official samurai schools did not accept. The old man sat beside him. He took a deep breath and placed his hand on the ground. "You think this scar is your failure?" he said softly. But it is not. It is your beginning. Daichi looked down. His voice broke slightly. I trained for years. I gave everything, and still I lost. And that, the old man replied, is why you are ready. The words confused Daichi. Ready for what? He looked at the old man, searching for answers. Who are you? He asked. The old man smiled gently. Someone who once carried a scar like yours. Someone who learned a technique that most samurai fear. A technique that teaches a man how to stand, even after he falls. Daichi's heartbeat quickened. He leaned forward. A technique. Yes, the old man whispered. A forbidden one. That word sent a chill through Daichi's body. Forbidden. That meant dangerous. That meant hidden. That meant powerful. Daichi's. The voice became quiet. Why forbidden? The old man's eyes turned serious. Because it breaks the pride of warriors. It forces them to face truth. And truth is the hardest weapon. Daichi stayed silent. Something inside him stirred a small spark. A tiny flame that had almost died. The old man continued. Most samurai chase strength. They chase speed, power, reputation. But they do not chase truth. Truth scares them. Truth reveals weakness. But if you can face weakness, you become unbreakable. Daichi felt the words cut through him deeper than any blade. Unbreakable. That was exactly what he wanted. That was exactly what he lost. He swallowed. Teach me. The old man closed. His eyes for a long moment, as if weighing Daichi's entire life in that silence. Then he opened them and nodded. I will teach you, he said. But first, you must understand something. This technique will not make you stronger in a day. It will not give you a new sword skill. It will not make your fear disappear. It will make you see your fear clearly and still move. Daichi nodded slowly. For the first time in months, the weight on his chest felt lighter. The old man stood up and pointed to Daichi's scar. That mark on your skin is nothing, he said. The real scar is hiding inside you, and it grows every time you run from. The truth. Daichi looked at the ground. The wind blew gently, carrying the smell of night air. What must I do? He asked. The old man answered, Tomorrow, before the sun rises, come to the old temple at the edge of the forest. There we will begin. He turned and walked into the darkness, disappearing as quietly as he arrived. Daichi stayed under the tree, staring at the moon. His heart felt alive again. Hope, fear, curiosity, everything mixed together. He did not know what the forbidden technique was. He did not know how hard the path would be. But he knew one thing. He would not run anymore. The scar on his shoulder burned softly, but this time it did not feel like pain. It felt like a promise. And so, before dawn, Daichi tightened the cloth around his wound, held his sword close, and walked toward the forest, toward the forbidden truth that would change his life forever, before the sky even turned blue. Daichi was already walking through the cold forest path. His breath formed small clouds in the air. The trees stood tall and silent, as if watching him. The old temple was far from the village, hidden behind thick woods and sharp rocks. People rarely went there. They said spirits lived around it. They said old secrets rested there. Daichi did not care. He wanted answers. He wanted the truth. After almost an hour of walking, he finally saw the broken roof of the temple. The wooden gates were covered in moss. Stone lanterns sat crookedly on the ground. Vines climbed the walls like ancient scars. It felt like the place had been forgotten by everyone, except the old man. Daichi stepped inside. The air was cold, and the sound of his footsteps echoed softly. The floor was covered with leaves. He looked around, unsure, until he heard a soft voice behind him. "You came." Daichi turned. The old man was sitting on a flat stone, his eyes closed, his hands resting lightly on his knees. He looked peaceful, almost too peaceful for a place like this. Daichi bowed slightly. "I said I would come." The old man nodded. "Good. The first step of the forbidden technique begins now." Daichi waited, expecting the old man to hand him a special sword, or show a powerful stance, or reveal some ancient scroll. But instead, the old man held out something completely unexpected. A small wooden stick. Daichi blinked. "What is this?" The old man smiled. "Your first tool." Daichi took the stick. It was light, simple, nothing impressive. He felt confused. He had imagined something more dramatic. Seeing his expression, the old man said, "Strength does not begin with sharp steel. It begins with a sharp mind." Daichi stayed quiet. The old man stood up slowly and walked toward the center of the temple. Daichi sat cross-legged on the dusty floor. The old man sat in front of him, their knees almost touching. "For the next 7 days," the old man said, "you will come here before sunrise. Every day you will do one simple thing." He pointed at Daichi's chest, right where the heart beats. "You will speak the truth." Daichi frowned. "Speak the truth?" "Yes," the old man replied. "The truth you fear the most." Daichi felt something tighten inside him. He looked down at the ground. "What if I do not want to say it?" "Then you cannot learn the technique." Daichi looked at his hands, his scar, his trembling fingers. The memory of losing in front of everyone. The old man continued, "Most warriors live inside lies. They say, 'I am strong.' They say, 'I fear nothing.' But inside, they are breaking. They hide their weakness, and a hidden weakness becomes a heavy chain." Daichi swallowed. The words felt too real. The old man looked him straight in the eyes. "Your chain is your defeat. You never accepted it. You ran from it. You pretended it did not change you. But it did." Daichi felt heat rise to his face. He did not want to speak. He did not want to open that wound again. But the old man's gaze was calm, patient. "Try," the old man said softly. Daichi took a long breath. He closed his eyes. At first, there was only silence. Then, in a weak voice, he whispered, "I failed." The words felt heavy, like stones sliding off a cliff. His throat tightened. His hands shook. The old man nodded. "Good. Again." Daichi hesitated. Saying it once was hard. Saying it again felt impossible, but he pushed himself. "I failed." Again. This time Daichi raised his head. "I failed." The old man placed a hand on Daichi's shoulder. "Do you see? The truth does not kill you. The truth frees you." Daichi exhaled slowly. Something inside him shifted, like a locked door opening a little. The old man continued, This is the first part of the forbidden technique. Speak the truth. Face yourself. Do not hide. Daichi wiped his eyes without shame. The old man did not judge him. After a moment of quiet, the old man lifted the wooden stick again. This is your training tool. You will carry it everywhere. But you will not use it for fighting. You will use it as a reminder. A reminder of what? Daichi asked. That even the greatest warrior begins with something simple, something small, something humble. Daichi nodded slowly. The old man stood and motioned for Daichi to follow him outside. They stepped into the open yard behind the temple. The sun was beginning to rise, painting the sky with soft orange light. Now, the old man said, we begin the second part. Daichi stood firm, waiting for instructions. The old man showed him a very small movement, a slow, gentle lift of the arm, like raising a cup. Then he lowered it again. That is all? Daichi asked, confused. That is all, the old man replied. Do this movement 100 times. Daichi blinked. But what does it do? The old man smiled faintly. That is what every young warrior asks. They all want big movements, loud strikes, powerful techniques. They think strength comes from size. But the truth is simple. If you cannot control one small movement, you cannot control a big one. Daichi looked at the wooden stick in his hand. Then at the old man's calm face. It looked silly, childish, too easy. But after he raised his arm 10 times, he felt a strange heat in his shoulder. After 20 times, the movement became harder. After 50, his muscles ached. By the time he reached 100, sweat dripped from his forehead. The old man said nothing. He simply watched. Daichi lowered his arm, breathing hard. This is harder than it looks. The old man nodded. Exactly. Daichi finally understood. A small action repeated many times becomes powerful. A small truth spoken every day becomes strength. A tiny movement done with focus becomes discipline. This was the forbidden way, slow, patient, humble. And because it was slow and humble, most warriors hated it, the old man said. Return tomorrow. We will continue. Daichi bowed. His arm still burned. But inside, he felt something new, a small flame returning to life. As he walked back through the forest, he remembered his 3 simple tasks. Speak the truth. Carry the simple tool. Master the small movement. He had expected a secret martial art, a new sword stance, a dramatic power. But instead, he received something deeper, the beginning of a new self. He did not realize it yet. But these small steps were shaping him into someone unbreakable. Someone stronger than the boy who entered that arena. Someone who would stand tall even when the world tried to crush him. Someone who could never give up. And the true test of the forbidden technique had not even begun. The next morning, Daichi returned to the old temple before the sun had fully risen. The forest air was cold enough to bite his skin, but he walked faster. His wooden stick was tied to his belt, swinging lightly with each step. He felt tired from the previous day, but there was a spark in him, small but alive. When Daichi reached the temple gate, he found the old man already waiting. The old man sat quietly on a stone, eyes closed, as if he had been awake long before Daichi arrived. You are on time, the old man said without opening his eyes. Daichi bowed. I came to continue the training. The old man finally looked at him. Good. Today, your body will learn what your mind began yesterday. Daichi took a slow breath. He remembered the small movement he'd practiced 100 times. His shoulder still felt sore. The old man stood. Follow me. They walked to the back of the temple, where the ground was covered with fallen leaves. The morning sunlight touched the trees gently. Birds sang somewhere far away. The old man picked up a small stone from the ground and placed it in Daichi's hand. Another simple tool, Daichi said with a weak smile. The old man nodded. Every small thing has a lesson. Daichi held the stone. It was tiny, rough, and cold. Your job, the old man said, is to hold this stone in your hand while you practice the movement again. Daichi frowned. Just one stone. Just one, the old man replied. You will learn how heavy a small thing can become. Daichi took his position. He raised his arm with the stone in his hand, slowly, carefully, just as he had been taught. 1, 2, 3. After 20 repetitions, the stone felt heavier. After 40, his arm trembled. After 70, sweat rolled down his neck. And when he reached 100, his hand almost dropped. The old man watched silently. Daichi lowered his arm and breathed hard. Why? Such small things. The old man stepped closer. Because you want big strength. But big strength comes from small control. Daichi nodded, wiping sweat from his face. The old man gestured for him to sit. Now, speak the truth again. Daichi closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. His voice was stronger this time. I failed. And, the old man asked. Daichi opened his eyes. And I am afraid of losing again. The old man smiled gently. Good, Daichi felt ashamed. Is it wrong to be afraid? No, the old man replied. Fear means you care. Fear means something matters. A warrior who says he fears nothing is a liar, and liars break easily. Daichi let the words sink in. Somehow, saying the truth made him feel lighter. The old man continued, You think the forbidden technique is about winning battles. It is not. It is about winning yourself. Daichi listened carefully. Every day, the old man said, you will do 3 things. Speak your truth. Do a small movement with full focus. Carry a simple tool to remind you of humility. If you repeat these long enough, your mind will become still. Your fear will become clear. And when the moment of pressure comes, you will not break. Daichi looked at the wooden stick and the small stone. They seemed like nothing. But something inside him understood this training was rebuilding him. The old man stood again. Now, the 3rd lesson of the day. Daichi raised his eyebrows. There is more. Yes, the old man said. The world does not wait. Neither should you. He pointed toward a path behind the temple. Walk that path until you reach the river. Do not stop. While you walk, keep the stone in your hand. Each time your mind wanders, you must return to your breath. Daichi took a deep breath. Return to my breath. Exactly, the old man said. If your mind goes to fear, return to your breath. If it goes to anger, return to your breath. If you think of the past or the future, return to your breath. Daichi nodded slowly. He walked toward the path. Leaves crunched beneath his feet. The stone in his hand felt small but important. After a few minutes, his mind started to wander. He thought of Rai, the fighter who scarred him. His chest tightened. He remembered the old man's words. Return to your breath. Daichi inhaled deeply. The tightness eased. He walked farther. The forest got darker. A small animal ran across the path. Daichi's mind wandered again, this time to the villagers who once cheered for him. How they looked away after his loss. His heart felt heavy again. Return to your breath. He inhaled. Exhaled. Slowly. Calmly. By the time he reached the river, his breathing felt easier. The water was clear, flowing gently over smooth stones. Daichi looked at his reflection in the water, tired, sweating, but calmer than before. He closed his fist around the stone. Maybe the old man was right. Maybe small things truly changed a person. Daichi returned to the temple just as the sun rose high. The old man waited at the gate. Did you follow the breath? The old man asked. Yes, Daichi replied. It helped. The old man nodded. Good. Then the practice is working. Daichi felt a quiet pride inside him. Not loud, not fiery, but steady. For the next few days, Daichi repeated the same routine. Truth, small movement, breath control, simple tools. Each day, the wooden stick felt lighter. Each day, the stone felt easier to hold. Each day, speaking the truth hurt less. But something surprising happened after the 5th day. Daichi woke up early. As always, he walked toward the temple. But today, he felt different. His steps were calmer, his breath steady, his mind clearer. For the first time, he felt the technique working. When he reached the temple, the old man noticed the change. You have begun to accept yourself, the old man said. Daichi bowed. He felt grateful, almost emotional. Thank you, master. The old man corrected him gently. I am not your master. I am only your mirror. You must master yourself. Daichi nodded. The words stayed in his heart. That afternoon, the old man surprised him with a new challenge. Today, he said, you will spar. Daichi's eyes widened. Spar? With you? No, the old man replied. With fear? He pointed toward the empty yard in front of the temple. Stand there, close your eyes, and listen. Daichi walked to the center. He closed his eyes. At first, there was silence. Then the sound of footsteps behind him. Fast, sharp footsteps. Daichi's heart jumped. His muscles tightened. His body wanted to react. But he remembered the rule. Return to your breath. He inhaled, exhaled. Slowly, the footsteps got closer. Daichi felt fear rising. He inhaled again. This time, he did not panic. He did not freeze. He did not run. He stayed steady. The footsteps stopped. Daichi opened his eyes. The old man stood behind him with a wooden staff. You did well. Daichi breathed out in relief. You did not break, the old man said. Fear came to you, but you did not let it control you. Daichi looked at his hands. They were steady. His heart was calm. For the first time since his defeat, he felt strong again, not because of a powerful technique, but because of three simple things: truth, breath, small steps. He finally understood. This was the real foundation of the forbidden samurai technique. But the old man smiled sadly and said, "Daichi, the real test has not begun yet. What you have learned is only the start." Daichi felt a chill. What kind of test was coming? He would soon find out. The test arrived on a morning that looked peaceful, too peaceful. The sky was clear, the wind calm, and the temple sat quietly on the hill. But Daichi felt something wrong in the air. The old man had called him earlier than usual, before the birds even began their morning songs. When Daichi reached the courtyard, the old man was standing in the center, holding a long wooden staff. His face was different today, harder, colder, as if he had locked away every soft part of himself. "Daichi," he said, "today is the day you face the truth inside the fire." Daichi bowed, though his heart beat faster. "I am ready." The old man's voice was steady. "No one is ever ready, but you must go anyway." Daichi did not understand the words, but he felt their weight. He placed his wooden stick and stone on a nearby rock. For days, these simple tools taught him humility, focus, and control. But today, he sensed he would need more than that. "Come," the old man said. They walked down a narrow path behind the temple. It led to an open ground Daichi had never seen before, a large circle surrounded by tall rocks. The air felt heavy here, as if it remembered things that happened long ago. "This," the old man said, "is the field of echoes." Daichi looked around. "Why is it called that?" "Because this place repeats everything you carry inside. Your fear, your anger, your doubts, they will show themselves." Daichi felt a chill. "How?" The old man didn't answer. Instead, he took a few steps back. "You will fight today." Daichi felt the ground shift under his feet. Fight. Against who? The old man pointed behind him. Daichi turned, his breath caught in his throat. Standing at the edge of the circle was Rai, the fighter who defeated him, the man who gave him the scar, the one Daichi feared the most. Rai looked exactly as Daichi. Remembered, tall, controlled, dangerous. But there was something else in his eyes now. Something darker. Something hungry. Daichi felt his heartbeat jump. His hands shook. His legs weakened. The old man spoke softly. "This is your test. Not to win, not to defeat him, but to not break." Daichi swallowed hard. "Master, I am not ready for this." "You are," the old man said. "You just do not believe it yet." Rai stepped forward and lifted his practice blade, a long wooden sword that looked harmless, but could break bones with enough force. Daichi had no weapon. He looked at his empty hands. "I need a sword." "No," the old man said firmly. "A sword will not save you. Only your mind can." Daichi's stomach twisted. How could he fight Rai empty-handed? Rai swung the blade through the air, testing the weight. The sound sliced through the silence like thunder. He stared at Daichi with cold eyes. No hate, no anger. Just the eyes of someone who wanted to dominate. Daichi closed his eyes. His chest tightened. The memory of the old fight rushed back. Falling, the pain, the scar, the silence of the crowd. His breath grew quick and sharp. The old man raised his voice. "Daichi, Speak the truth. Daichi opened his mouth, but his voice trembled. I am afraid. Good, the old man said. Now return to your breath. Daichi inhaled slowly, exhaled. He felt the air move inside. Rai stepped closer. Daichi inhaled again. Exhale. Rai lifted the sword. Daichi did not run. The first strike came fast, too fast for a normal fighter. The blade cut through the air. Daichi ducked, barely avoiding it. Wind brushed his hair. The second strike came from the side. Daichi stepped back, but the blade grazed his arm. A sharp pain shot up to his shoulder. Rai did not slow down. His movements were smooth and deadly. Daichi felt fear rising again. His mind screamed, "You will lose. You will fall again. Nothing has changed." The old man called out Daichi. "What is the forbidden rule?" Daichi gasped. "Truth. Small steps. Breath. Then use them." Daichi wiped sweat from his forehead. He inhaled. He found a breath again. He focused on the small things, his feet, his balance, his heartbeat. Rai attacked again. This time, Daichi moved with control. He slipped to the side, letting the blade pass close but harmless. The old man watched silently. Rai circled around him like a wolf. "You look calm," Rai said, his voice low. "But calm falls too." He rushed forward. Daichi reacted, not with fear, but with focus. He remembered the small movement the old man taught him. The slow lift of the arm. He used it now. He lifted his arm, redirecting Rai's attack just enough to avoid the hit. It was not a perfect block, but it saved him. Rai stepped back. Surprised, Daichi breathed again. His fear was still there, but it was no longer controlling him. It was simply a feeling, not a command. The old man spoke. "Good. Fear is not the enemy. Panic is." Rai attacked again, harder. Daichi dodged. Another strike. Daichi blocked with his forearm. Pain exploded through his arm, but he stayed calm. He inhaled, exhaled. Rai's attacks grew faster, angrier. Daichi felt the pressure rising. His legs were shaking. His lungs burned. But he did not collapse. He used the breath. He used the truth. He used the small steps. He focused only on the present moment, not on winning. Not on losing, just on staying. Finally, Rai let out a frustrated growl and swung his blade in a wide arc. It was powerful, but sloppy. Daichi stepped inside the swing, the one place Rai never expected. He placed a single hand on Rai's shoulder and pushed gently. Rai stumbled. Silence filled the field of echoes. Rai looked at Daichi with shock. He had not been defeated by strength, but by calm. Daichi stepped back, breathing hard but steady. His body hurt, his arm bled, his legs trembled, but he did not break. The old man walked toward him slowly. His eyes were warm now, filled with pride. "You faced a fear. You saw the truth. You did not run. You did not lie. You did not panic." Daichi felt tears in his eyes. He looked down at his shaking hands. I didn't win." The old man shook his head. Winning was never the goal. He placed a hand on Daichi's shoulder. The goal was to not give up. Daichi closed his eyes and let the words wash through him. He felt different. Not stronger, not faster, but clearer, steadier. Unbreakable. Rai walked past Daichi and stopped for a moment. He looked at him with a hint of respect. You stood today, Rai said quietly. That is more than most men ever do. Daichi bowed slightly. The old man spoke. Again, Daichi, the final part of the technique is waiting. What you learned today was only the fire. The truth will be revealed next. Daichi felt a new kind of fear, not of pain, but of the unknown. What truth? He asked. The old man turned away and whispered, the truth that changes all men. Daichi walked deeper into the mountain forest, feeling the cold wind bite his skin. The sky had changed again. Dark clouds circled above him like smoke. It felt as if the mountain itself was watching him. He knew this was the end, the final trial. The test that decided if a warrior was truly unbreakable or forever forgotten. Every step he took felt heavier. The path became narrow, almost disappearing under fallen leaves and broken branches. The air was silent. Even the birds refused to sing here. Daichi had trained for years, had faced fear, pain, doubt, and memories, but something about this final journey felt different. The forbidden technique was close, but so was danger. He had to be ready. The spirit of the mountain, APPARS's Daichi, reached the top of the cliff. He saw an old wooden gate standing alone, cracked, broken, but still holding a strange power. When he walked through it, the world became white for a moment. Then a shadow appeared. A tall figure stepped out from the mist. It was the mountain guardian, a spirit samurai from ancient times. His armor was black, his eyes like burning fire. He held a long spear, and his voice echoed through the air. You came for the forbidden technique, the spirit said. Daichi nodded. Yes, I will not give up. I must complete my master's mission. The spirit lifted his spear. Then show me a heart that never breaks. Daichi took a deep breath. This was it, the final battle. The battle Biji and Esther. Spirit disappeared. Then clang. He appeared behind Daichi, attacking with incredible speed. Daichi blocked the first strike, but the force pushed him back almost off the cliff. He quickly regained his stance. His heart was beating fast, but he stayed calm. The spirit attacked again. Spear strikes came from all sides. Left, right, above, behind. Daichi felt like he was fighting a storm. Each attack tested a different part of him, his strength, his mind, his focus. But the real battle was inside him. Every mistake he made brought back memories of his past, his master falling, his village burning, his own failures. Each memory tried to break him. The spirit seemed to know exactly how to hit his weakness. You are still afraid, the spirit said as he swung again. You still doubt yourself. Daichi felt anger rising, but he pushed it down. I will not give up, Daichi whispered. Not now. Not ever. The world slows DOW. The battle grew faster and faster. The spirit moved like lightning. Daichi could barely keep up. His arms were tired. His breathing was heavy. His legs felt like stone. But then something strange happened. Daichi remembered the words of the old monk. When your fear rises, breathe. When your body breaks, breathe. When your heart shakes, breathe. The mountain breathes with you. Daichi closed his eyes for a split second. He inhaled. He exhaled. Slow, calm, deep. And suddenly, the world slowed down. The spirit's attacks became clear. Not easy, but readable. The way the spear moved, the angle of each strike, the rhythm of every attack, Daichi could finally see it. His fear began to fade. His doubt began to melt. He stepped forward with new confidence. The turning, pewing teeth. The spirit thrust the spear straight at Daichi's chest. Daichi didn't step back this time. He moved forward. He turned his body just enough for the spear to pass by him. Then he grabbed the spear shaft with both hands and twisted it. For the first time, the spirit was surprised. Daichi used the opening and struck with his wooden training sword. The hit landed on the spirit's armor, sending cracks of light across it. The guardian stepped back, holding his chest. "You finally understand," the spirit said. Daichi didn't know what he meant, but the battle was not over. The spirit raised his spear again. Light burst from the ground. The air shook. This was the final attack. Daichi prepared himself, feet steady, breathing calm. Mind cleared. The spirit charged. Daichi stepped forward, not back, and delivered one final strike. Everything went silent. The guardian's last WRDS, the spirit, dropped to one knee. His spear faded like smoke. He looked at Daichi with calm, glowing eyes. "You faced your fear," he said. "You controlled your pain. You did not run from your memories." A soft wind blew across the cliff. "You have learned the true meaning of the forbidden technique," the spirit said. "It is not about strength. It is not about speed. It is not about fighting." He tapped Daichi's chest. "It is here. The power to never give up comes from your heart." Daichi lowered his head. He understood now. The technique was not a move. It was a state of mind. The spirit slowly stood up, his body dissolving into light. "Go," he said. "Your master's dream lives in you. Guard it, protect it, and never let it die." And with that, the guardian vanished. The final moment, Daichi stood alone on the cliff. But he didn't feel alone anymore. The fear that once followed him was gone. The doubts that once controlled him, silent. For the first time in his life, his mind felt clear like the morning sky. He tightened his grip on his wooden sword. He was ready to complete his destiny. Ready to return to the world as the last student of the forbidden samurai path. And with calm steps, Daichi walked down the mountain, not as a boy learning to survive, but as a warrior who could never be broken.